Are appraisal gaps coming back in Airdrie, Alberta? And could buyers get caught paying more than the bank thinks the home is worth? So which city are you watching from today? Put it in the comments because I always like to see where people are watching from. And if you are thinking about buying in or selling in Airdrie, call me before you make the move. Because this is not the kind of market where guessing is a good strategy. Airdrie real estate in 2026 is not crashing, but is not the wild market we saw before either. That is where people get confused. Some homes are still selling fast. Some homes are sitting on the market. Some sellers are still acting like it is 2021. Some buyers are waiting for a huge deal, and that may never come. And right in the middle of all the confusion, real opportunities are showing up. But here is the part most people miss. There is not one Airdrie market right now. There is two. There's a fast market and there is an opportunity market. The fast market is made up of homes that are priced right, shows well, are in strong areas, and give buyers a clear reason to act quickly. Those homes can still get strong offers. They can still move fast. They can still make buyers nervous because someone else may want the same house. But the opportunity market is different. There is where homes are overpriced, poorly presented, sitting too long, or competing with too much similar inventory. That is where buyers may have room to negotiate. That is where inspection conditions, financing conditions, price adjustments, seller flexibility can come back into the conversation. And that is why blanket advice is weak and advice. When someone says Airdrie is hot, they are only half right. When someone says Airdrie is slowing down, they are also only half right. The real answer is this. It depends on the home, the price range, the condition, the location, and how many similar homes are for sale at the same time. Now let's talk about appraisal gaps. An appraisal gap happens when a buyer agrees to pay one price, but the lender or appraiser values the home lower. For example, a buyer offers $575,000, but the appraisal comes in at $560,000. That gap does not just disappear. Someone has to deal with it. The buyer may need more cash. The seller may need a reduced price, or both sides may need to renegotiate. In a hot market, buyers sometimes get emotional and the offer too high because they are scared of losing the home. That is where trouble starts. And in Airdrie, this matters because some homes are still getting strong attention, especially if they are well priced, cleaned, updated, and in a desirable community. But here is the warning. Just because one house sells fast does not mean every house is worth more. That is a lazy way to read the market. A smarter buyer looks at the recent sales, active competition, days on market, conditions upgrade, lot size, basement development, garage size, and location. A smart buyer also asks this question. If the bank does not support this price, do I have cash to cover the difference? That is not fear, that is preparation. So now let's talk about mortgage rates. The Bank of Canada held its policy rate at 2.25% in late April 2026. That matters because buyers are still sensitive to payments, even when the rates come down from previous highs. Affordability is still tight for many families. A small change in the rate can change monthly payments. A small change in price can change qualifications, and a small mistake in the offer can cost thousands. This is why buyers in Airdrie need to get fully pre-approved before shopping, not pre-qualified. A pre-approved, there is a difference. Pre-qualified means someone gave you a rough idea. A pre-approved means your income, credit, debt, down payment, and documents have been reviewed. In this market, that matters. Because if you find the right home and wait too long, the best homes may still get taken. But if you rush into the wrong home, You may overpay for something that should have never been negotiated. That is why 2026 strategy market. Now let's break down Airdrie numbers in plain English. In March 2026, Airdrie had 135 sales and 251 new listings. That means more homes came on the market than sold during that month. Inventory was 448 homes with about 3.32 months of supply. That points to a more balanced market, not a buyer's market across the board, not a seller's market across the board, a balanced market. And balance means both sides needs to be realistic. Sellers cannot just throw a high price on the wall and hope buyers chase it. Buyers cannot assume every seller is desperate. The benchmark price was $512,800. The average price was $522,972. The median price was $525,000. That tells us Airdrie is still a major affordability option compared to Calgary and Chestermere, but it's not cheap like it used to be. Airdrie has grown, demand has grown, the city has changed. Buyers are not just looking at price anymore. They are looking at lifestyle, commute, schools, parks, shopping, newer communities, garage space, and long-term value. Now, what are homes actually selling for? Recent April numbers showed that Airdrie homes selling around 98% of the list price. That means sellers are not giving homes away. But it also means many buyers are not paid wild premiums across the board. That is a very important point. A 98% sale to list ratio tells you there may be room to negotiate, but not always a huge discount. If a home is listed at $600,000 and sells for 98% of the list price, that is about $588,000. That is a real negotiation, but it is not a crash. This is where buyers need to be sharp. If a home has been sitting for a while, has price reductions, has poor photos, needs work, or stronger competition nearby, you may have leverage. But if the home is clean, priced right, in a popular area, and shows better than everything else, you may not have much room. That is the difference between fast market and an opportunity market. Let's talk about where buyers may have negotiation powers. Buyers may have more power on homes that are overpriced from day one. They may have more power on properties that need update. They may have more power where there are several similar listings in the same price range. They may have more power with homes that have been on the market longer than the average. And they may have more power when the seller has already reduced the price once or twice. But buyers need to be careful. Lowballing everything is not a strategy. It's just noise. A strong buyer's strategy is known when to push and when to move. If the home is weak, push. If the home is strong, move. If the numbers do not support the price, walk away. That is how smart buyers protect themselves. Now, why do some homes in Airdrie still get multiple offers? Because great homes are still rare. A buyer may have more listings to choose from, but that does not mean every listing is good. Some homes have poor layouts, some back onto noise, some need work, some are priced too high, some do not show well. So when a clean, well-priced home hits the market in a good area, buyers notice fast. That is especially true in family-friendly communities where buyers want space, garage, finished basement, more street, and a home that does not need major work right away. This is why sellers need to understand something. You do not win by being the most expensive listing. You win by being the best value. That does not mean cheap. It means priced correctly for what the home offers. Big difference. Now let's talk about Airdrie community. Cooper's Crossing is still one of the communities people know and ask about. It has a strong reputation, and that reputation can support demand when the home is priced properly. Bayside and Bayview attract people who like pathways, water features, and a newer feel. Hillcrest has been popular with families who want newer homes and access to South Airdrie Chinook Gate. Gives buyers newer construction and a planned community feel. Then there's Prairie Springs, offers a more established option with homes that may appeal to buyers who want space and value, but here's the honest truth. The community name alone does not sell the home. The price still has to make sense. The condition still has to make sense. The competition still matters. That is why buyers and sellers need street-level advice, not just city-level statistics. Now let's talk about why some Airdrie numbers can look strange. The average price can be misleading. If more expensive homes sell in 1 month, the average jumps. If more affordable homes sell the next month, the average drops. That does not always mean every home went up or down. It may just mean the mix of homes changed. This is why I do not like lazy market talk. When someone says prices are up or down, the next question should be, what kind of property are you talking about? Is it a detached home, a townhome, condos, newer homes, older homes, finished basement, no basement, double garage, no garage? Every one of those details changes value. This is why a proper pricing strategy matters. And this is where a lot of sellers make a costly mistake. They look at one high sale and think their home is worth the same. But that other home may have had better upgrades, better conditions, a better lot, or a finished basement, or less competition when it sold. That is why overpricing is dangerous. The first 2 weeks on the market matter more than the next 2 months. Buyers watch new listings closely. When a home comes out too high, they notice. When it sits, they wonder what is wrong. Then the seller reduces the price. But by that time, the excitement is gone. That is how sellers end up chasing the market instead of leading it. Now let's talk about seller strategy in Airdrie right now. If you want to win, you need 3 things: correct pricing, strong presentation, clear marketing. That means professional photos, clean rooms, no clutter, good lighting, a clear story about why the home is worth seeing, and pricing that makes buyers feel urgency, not fake urgency. Real urgency, the kind that makes a buyer say, this is the best home I've seen in this price range. That's how sellers win. Not by hoping, not by guessing, not by copying the highest listing on the street. By understanding the market and the positioning the home correctly. Now let's talk about buyer strategy. Buyers should not sit around waiting for a collapse. If the right home is already in the front of you, but the buyers also should not panic and overpay just because one home has competition. The right move is to know your numbers before you start. Know your payment, know your down payment, know your closing costs, and know your comfort level. Know what you can handle if rates change, and know what you will do if the appraisal comes in lower than your offer. And that is how you avoid getting trapped. In this market, buyers should look for homes with motivation signals. Longer days on market, price reductions, vacant homes, estate sales, homes with poor marketing, homes that need cosmetic upgrades, homes competing against several similar listings. Those are the places where opportunity can show up. But if you are chasing a perfect home in a high demand area, do not expect the seller to roll over. That is not how the market works. Now here is a big picture. Airdrie in 2026 is becoming a more mature market. It is no longer just the cheaper option outside Calgary. It has its own identity, it has its own demand, and it has its own buyer pool. But the market is also more selective now. Buyers are more careful, payments matter, conditions matters, inventory matters, and the value matters more than hype. So what you should do next, if you are buying, do not chase every listing. Study the market, get pre-approved, compare your homes properly, watch for opportunity, and when the right home shows up, be ready. And if you're selling, do not test the market with an inflated price. That is how you lose. That is how you lose momentum. Price it right, show it properly, market it strongly, and make buyers feel like your home is one worth acting for. And if you are thinking about buying or selling in Airdrie, call me directly before you make your move, and I'll tell you the truth about the market, even if it's not what you expect to hear. My name is Kevin Baldwin, and my phone number is 403-561-0037. Because in a market like this, wrong advice can cost you money, but the right advice can protect your equity, your time, and your next move. Leave a comment so we can keep the conversation going. And before you go, rate this Airdrie market from 0 to 10. Do you think Airdrie is still a strong market, or do you think buyers are finally getting more power?